Okay, hello everyone. Today is Friday. It is the 19th, and we got a lot to get into again with the crime. What else is new to talk about with the crime? You know, every day we know the situation with it. It just seems to get bad and bad, and I'm trying to increase the mic. I don't know what's going on with it today, but if I go along and speak a little bit louder, then that's a good sign. Okay, we're good. So let's talk about what's on the New York One homepage again. Because we know how much of a joke New York One is. Now, they're not completely much of a joke. I mean, they did a good job covering the fire in Flushing the other day. But this is big news that indoor dining capacity is going to be expanded. So we'll quickly read that. Well, we have a lot of politics we need to get into today. We also have to get into, again, the crime. A lot of issues going on in my precious Queens that we have to get into. I will mention one quick thing here. The MTA has got to be out of their mind for a wage freeze during this pandemic. Are you kidding me? The transit workers deserve more appreciation, but yet, you know how Pat Foy thinks. I'm disgusted about that. And trust me, that's something I would have brought up with the finance committee. Believe me. I would have told Larry Schwartz how I felt about it. But there's no committees, so I can't tell him how I feel. Okay, yes, at least they did mention the explosion in the Bronx. But only for about 47 seconds. I'll take a look at that in a second, but here we go again. Public safety. What does this have to do with public safety? What does this have to do with public safety? Let's just check their public safety. This is what you have to do. You have to go. Alright, I'll show you. Watch. So you go to latest news on the New York One website, okay? Latest news, public safety. Let's see what comes up. Oh, lovely. They have that preppy you-know-what from Forest Hills on this page. Are you kidding me? Oh, my goodness. Alright, so at least they cover this. But nothing's updated. And there's so much crime going on in Queens. And yes, I'm in agreement with Local 100. They got to do something about the spitting. Because there should be more consequences for spitting on a bus or a subway operator. Really should be harsher penalties. Alright, so let's just see if we, go to headlines. They at least cover the fire in the Bronx. Let me see. Nope, talking about Texas. Texas! Are you kidding me? I understand Texas is in a state of emergency with the weather. And my thoughts and prayers go to everybody in Texas who have been affected with the weather. But what's going on here? Where's the news about the explosion in the Bronx? There was a huge house explosion in the Bronx. And by the way, we are going to talk about Ron Kim, because I'm going to be emailing him over the weekend to tell him how I feel about Mr. Cuomo intimidating him. Let's see. No. Yeah, I'll just see if the Bronx is even on here. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. 47 seconds. 47 seconds. Are you kidding me? This was a huge deal. At least 1010 Wins covered this. Alright, let's just watch to see how much of a joke New York One is. Let's just briefly watch the video, and then I'll read an article from Channel 7.
Several children were hurt after an explosion in the Bronx that
I don't know what happened. I don't have my speakers. We'll fix that. That should work. Okay, let's try it.
Several children were hurt after an explosion in the Bronx that blast on Paulding Avenue in Castle Hill yesterday after It was so strong that it blew this door out onto the power lines on the street. Several windows were blown out during the explosion. 6 of the 9 people injured were children. 2 people in critical condition at the hospital.
There was what apparently a gas explosion on the second floor of this building that you see behind us. It blew out most of the windows and doors, as you can see.
I was there inside the apartment when the explosion occurred. The kitchen cabinet came flying over my head, took out the window.
Con Ed and the fire department are continuing their investigation. 4 families are displaced.
So there you go, 47 seconds. 47 seconds. All right, let me read what Channel 7 had to say about this. They didn't even give the address of the building. I don't even think it mentioned the address. An adult and the child were critically injured and several others were injured in a gas explosion in a home in the Bronx. The incident happened at the 3-story building at 1520 Paulding Avenue at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, February 18th. At least 10 people were injured after the explosion on the second floor, including 1 firefighter. The 2 people were critically injured were taken to Jacoby Hospital. The other victims were said to only have minor injuries. So, NY1 didn't even bring this up. That, how serious were the injuries? They didn't even bring that up. You know, this is what makes NY1 a joke. Oh, and look how disturbing this is. 6 out of the 10 people injured are children under the age of 18. The youngest was a 5-year-old with special needs. One mother was left with no choice but to toss her baby out of a window. A babysitter clutched the child, wrapped in blankets, as her mother followed her closely behind. Neighbor Elvis Copa said the blast shook his house down the block like an earthquake. I heard the lady screaming too, because she had the baby right there, and I grabbed the baby. I was the only option to do it. And by the way, I forgot to mention that, News 12 has its own The Bronx. But, excuse me, NY1 is supposed to cover all 5 boroughs. Okay? Understand that. I think on Optimum they're on Channel 98. So, NY1, you could have at least done a 2-minute report on this. This is just so disturbing. Look, I understand that a door got blown off. It's just completely disturbing. Yeah, a door got blown off. And in that video, I did notice Safan Kim was there, so... Why would they send Safan Kim to the Bronx? That's kind of... Normally you would think Marcus Solis or Nina Pineda would be in the Bronx. Because that's their specialty, but I guess not. Alright, and then let's talk about this. Well, we'll get to that, my bad. I'm completely off topic. Let me get back on topic. So we're going to move on to politics. So, I did break the news about 2 weeks ago that James Gennaro won the special election in my city council district. So, now my city councilman is a 2-time person. And he's trying to, get his name on the ballot for the Democratic primary on June 22nd. I wouldn't see why not. I expect to see him on the ballot in the November election, of course. But keep in mind, he might be the only moderate on the council. So that's going to be very interesting to see a centrist back in the city council. Because mostly it's a lot of socialists who have been on the council lately. But we'll get into this. Okay, so James Gennaro is sworn in for a second time to the New York City Council. And as you can see here, that's Wendy, his wife, and that's him taking the oath of office virtually on Zoom. Okay, here we go. James Gennaro was sworn in once again for a second time as the City Council member for Queens' 24th City Council District on Thursday, February 18th, after the special election results were certified by the New York City Board of Elections. So, they had to confirm the absentee ballots because yours truly did vote absentee, for the record. Following the certification, City Clerk Michael McSweeney administered the oath of office he assumed to Councilman Gennaro, while his wife and children were by his side. So they have confirmed that even with the absentee balloting, Gennaro unanimously received 60.1% of the vote in an 8-candidate field. The seat was vacated last year by former Councilman Roy Lantzman, who took a job in the Cuomo administration. Alright, so, once again, the term that former Councilman Lantzman had was set to expire on December 31st, 2021. So, again, James is going to have to run again in the June primary, and I'm sure there will be the same amount of people challenging, but only time will tell. This is going to be very interesting to see what James will do. Now, again, I will mention that District 24 is served by Kew Gardens Hills, Pocomoke, Fresh Meadows, west of 188th Street, Hillcrest, Jamaica Estates, Briarwood, Parkway Village, Jamaica Hills, and Jamaica. So, again, I'm a west of 188th Street resident, so that's why I'm in the district. So I will go on the record for that. So, during his time on the council, previously from 2002 to 2013, Gennaro chaired the Committee on Environmental Protection when he authorized and passed 50 environmental laws. In January 2014, Gennaro was appointed by Deputy Commissioner in New York City Sustainability and Resiliency. I will also mention that in 2008, James Gennaro was the Democratic candidate for New York State Senate District Number 11, losing to then-Senator Frank Padovan. So, not that many people realize that that was actually a very close race. Very close race. So, James Gennaro almost became a state senator. But again, he's back at his old job. So, it'll be interesting to see what he does the next couple of months. Again, the primary is on June 22nd. I will mention that I have received the date of the early voting. I know it's February, but I have the date of when the early voting will start. Early voting can start the Saturday before the date. So the early voting date will go from June 12th until the 20th. And the primary will be on the 22nd. So both Democrat and Republicans will have their primaries. So I will just want to quickly mention that. Okay, now we're going to talk about Andrew Cuomo being someone who intimidates people yet again. Here we go. Governor Cuomo rallied against Queens Assemblyman Ron Kim, exposing lawyers of a friction between the two going back years. So, Kim wants to strip Cuomo's emergency powers due to the alleged cover-up of COVID-19 deaths. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can find the Ron Kim phone call. Let's see, I don't want to go into this article. Okay. Here we go. At least NY1 covered it. Oh, so NY1 did cover it. Good. All right, so let's read this. Kim alleged in an interview with the New York Times and CNN that Cuomo threatened to destroy him in a phone call last week. The phone call from Cuomo came amid the New York Post first reporting a top aide to the governor, Melissa DeRosa, told lawmakers in a meeting that week that the administration had withheld nursing home data from the public over concerns of a federal inquiry into the matter by the Trump administration. Spiraling stories surrounding nursing home deaths in New York are sparking calls for the governor's authority to respond to the issue to be rescinded by lawmakers. And It has thrust Cuomo, considered a national leader on the issue, in the national spotlight for much different reasons than earlier last year. Kim, a Queens Democrat who represents Flushing, has been a vocal critic of the governor's nursing home policies and was included in the meeting with the Rosa. After the Post story broke, Cuomo sought to contain the damage by calling Kim. Assemblyman Kim told CNN, "We're not in the business together and we don't cross certain lines." And he said, "I hadn't seen this ref and it cannot destroy me." Cuomo and the call reporters criticized Kim, accusing him of self-dealing over a bill several years ago surrounding nail salon regulations. So, it goes far back. But, it's just very disturbing to, hear this. Yep, and then look at this. This is a tweet from Wednesday. So you know how the intimidation continues from this governor. It's my way or no one's way. Just like how Cuomo has complete control of the MTA. That's why a lot of the people in the MTA board are from him. And you know what goes on with Long Island? I'm not going to get into that with the railroad. But it's Andrew Cuomo right here. What else is new? Alright, let's move on. Guess what? Another disturbing incident in Midtown. This time it's a hate crime. So let's get into this. Alright. So here we go. A 71-year-old woman says the suspect didn't say a word as he walked right up to a woman who was sitting on a moving E-train and slugged her in the face. In an exclusive by WABC TV, she said she tried to at first chase her attacker. The suspect is said to be a man in his 40s wearing a blue jacket, black pants, and a black mask. So, this happened, when did this happen? I would say this happened earlier in the week, so let's just assume this happened earlier in the week. But it happened right between the 5th Avenue, 53rd Street, and 7th Avenue, 53rd Street station in Midtown. So this is very disturbing. They're not even investigating this as a hate crime. You know, that's very disturbing. Why wouldn't the NYPD look into this as a hate crime? Very disturbing. And here's something else that's disturbing. A 68-year-old woman was punched on the back of the head around 6:50 a.m. on the northbound A train platform at 125th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue. The perpetrator, described as a man in his 20s, fled the scene on foot. So, NY1, shame on you. Shame on you. You really think you care about New York? You don't. You don't. Oh, and look at this. Stabbing at Christopher Street on the 1 line. So, you know how disturbing this is. Especially how that A-train incident happened. Okay, let's get into a robbery that happened in Middle Village. So, lovely. The neighborhood where one of my senior year high school classmate lives. Robbery reported. So, let's get into this. Middle Village, Glendale, man. I don't know what else is there to say. Police are looking for the duo who robbed the Middle Village Deli of $9,000 last month. On Sunday, January 17th, 2021 at 11:20 p.m. Oh, are you kidding me? It's happened on Elliott Avenue. Ah. Yeah, I tell you, no one is safe anymore. Okay, it says 11:20 p.m., 2 identified men broke into Andy's Delicatessen at 82-12 Elliott Avenue by smashing through the deli's back door. The duo rifled through the shop before finding a safe that had around $9,000. Grabbing the safe, the pair left the deli and hopped into a gray Mercedes-Benz C-Series sedan, driving off westbound Colwell Avenue, according to the authorities. Officers from the 104th Precinct recovered surveillance footage of the thieves inside the restaurant, as well as footage of the pair as they fled in the car. And, of course, no arrest. Investigation's ongoing, so... very disturbing. So, let me see if I can read the Crime Stoppers information while the video is playing. Zoom out for a second. Anyone with information in regard to the identity of the suspects can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS 8477 in Español 888-57-74782. You can also go online at www.nypdcrimestoppers.com or on Twitter at NYPDTips. Also, I will mention, if you have any other information, please notify the 104th Precinct. Okay, next up. I am completely shocked about the story in Auburndale. Police find an 86-year-old man dead in his home following a wellness check. And NY1 didn't even cover this either. Okay. Very quickly, I just want to look up this address. So I'm thinking this is a different part of Elliott Avenue, unless I'm wrong. Let me see. Oh, good. It's a different part of Elliott Avenue. Yeah, close to Woodhaven Boulevard. Okay, let's move on. Alright, so, they found the man dead Thursday afternoon following a wellness check. So, the 111 precinct responded to a 911 call on Thursday, February 19th from a friend who had not heard from James Murphy in a few days. And he went to, and the 111, officers from the 111 precinct went to his home on 194th Street near 50th Avenue just after 3 p.m. Now, again, this is the 111's jurisdiction, so 50th Avenue's their jurisdiction. When they arrived, the FDNY removed the door to the man's home and found him unconscious and unresponsive. EMS personnel pronounced Murphy dead. Medical examiners investigating the cause of the death. So, there was a nearby space heater involved, and the man had allegedly suffered burns, and the rocking chair he was in had burn marks. So, very disturbing. You know, NY1 at least could have done a 30-second mention of this, but no, they don't want to. Now, here's something disturbing that happened in Jamaica. Police recover a grenade inside a home. Wow. So this was from Thursday morning. A man walked into the 103rd Precinct Thursday morning, February 18th at 9:18 a.m. to report that he had found a grenade in his basement that was cleaning out. The man had been cleaning the basement on Grassboro Avenue between 139th and 140th Street when he found the grenade. FDNY and the bomb squad arrived at the scene to process the device to determine if it was live. And the item was an inert multi-shell smoke grenade. Because the grenade was found to be inert, a police spokesperson said there will be no further investigation. So, glad the person did the right thing and actually went to the precinct to report this. Now, let's get into a story that's actually made national headlines thanks to actress Olivia Munn, who actually knew the victim who was assaulted in this case. Police arrest man who allegedly assaulted woman outside of a Flushing bakery. A Flushing man who violently shoved a 52-year-old Asian woman to the ground and sent her to the hospital back on Tuesday, February 16th, has been arrested and charged with assault and harassment. So, in this case, play the Law and Order music. Alright, there we go. A happy ending in this case. Chief of Detective Rodney Harrelson commented on the 109th Precinct Detective Squad for quickly identifying and apprehending Patrick Mateo, age 47, who allegedly engaged in a verbal dispute with the woman on Tuesday afternoon outside of a Flushing bakery at 135-45 Roosevelt Avenue in downtown Flushing. So they apprehended the suspect because actress Olivia Munn, and I will get into this for a second here. Let's see. So, turns out Olivia Munn, and this is a true story, this is her friend's mother. Wow. Let's get into this. Alright, so the 40-year-old actress is calling up the rise of violence against Asian Americans after her friend's mother was recently attacked. And sad reality is, her friend's mother was hospitalized and required 10 stitches in her head. Wow, 10 stitches. And, you know, I don't know what else is there to say. I just really don't. And I noticed that she did post this on her Instagram. I do follow her closely on Instagram, by the way. And Stefan Kim did tweet out a video of the incident, so here's what happened. Wow. How disturbing that is. Just shoved her. In the middle of downtown Flushing. And keep in mind, these attacks have been going on for a year now. And you could blame the pandemic for that. And I don't tolerate this. I'm sorry. But again, Fresh Meadows has a very large Asian population. And okay, I will admit some of my neighbors don't speak English. But this is not acceptable. You know? We're trying to be a very progressive state, and yet these incidents are happening. My goodness. You know, if this happened on Union Turnpike, nobody would have even seen it. Nobody would have seen it. So all the cars passing by. Maybe on 188th Street. But this is in broad daylight in downtown Flushing. My goodness. Alright, so the woman was taken to Booth Memorial Hospital on Main Street in stable condition. And you know, it should be called Booth Memorial Medical. I'm sorry. But I'm in agreement with my old job coach. They should have never changed the name. Alright, so so they have a clear picture of the suspect. I don't know what else is there to say. And I will mention, Stefan Kim did a very good job of what happened. And I will mention my Congresswoman Grace Ming even spoke out against this. So, she is very active on social media. I will mention that. Now, speaking of a similar attack, this happened in Sunnyside. Duo hits woman with a skateboard in random attack. Okay, so let's see where this happened. The NYPD is looking for two men who attacked a 21-year-old woman with a skateboard in Sunnyside in January. On Wednesday, January 27, 2021 at 8:30 p.m., a 21-year-old woman was walking down the street near Queens Boulevard and 45th Street when she was approached by two unidentified men, according to the NYPD. Let me just get a water break. The two men began to verbally menace the woman. One of the men then spit on the 21-year-old and the other hit her over the head. And an unknown... Let me make sure I got this right. The attackers then run off on an unknown direction, but it says, one man spit on 21-year-old female victim. The other hit her head with the skateboard. Yikes. Oh, and then look at this. The woman refused medical attention. She sustained pain and bruising. Refused medical attention. No arrests have been made. Investigations ongoing. Police describe both men as being between both 20 and 30 years old. Surveillance footage of the suspects were found in the moments after the attack. Okay. So we do have a video of the incident. Looks like we don't. We just have a video of the suspects. Okay, we have about 4 more stories we're going to read. Let me just make sure. Yeah, okay, we have 4 more. No room for hate. Anti-Semitic graffiti removed from Rego Park Jewish Center. Well, look at this. This is disturbing. Look at that. Swastika. Okay, so this happened on Wednesday afternoon, February 17th. So, NY1 didn't even cover this either. The NYPD is investigating a hate crime after anti-Semitic graffiti was discovered at a Jewish house of worship back on Wednesday afternoon, February 17th. Investigators from the 112 Precinct and the NYPD Hate Crimes Unit are viewing surveillance video of a suspect scrolling a swastika on a private property sign on the steps of the Rego Park Jewish Center, located at 97-30 Queens Boulevard. Captain Joseph Chopperman, the commanding officer of the 112 in Forest Hills, called the incident an absolute disgusting, cowardly act. The neighborhood is home to many elderly that have suffered the atrocities of the Holocaust and who have lived under the persecution of the former Soviet Union, not to mention dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Cuomo directed the State Police Hate Crimes Task Force to assist the investigation to ensure the person responsible is held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. So, very disturbing. Just disturbing. And I believe I know where this place is. 97-30 Queens Boulevard. Passed by it many times. Yep, and look at this. Congressman Grace Ming, State Senator Toby Ann Stravinsky, Assemblyman Andrew Hevesy, and Councilwoman Karen Koslowitz, of course, condemn this. So, of course, the elected officials are going to condemn this since Rego Park, Kew Gardens, Forest Hills, there is a large Jewish population there. And I don't condone this, you know, it's just disturbing. Very disturbing. Yes, I'm sorry, I condone it. I am just so sorry. I mean, this is what happens when you're witnessing the downfall of Queens. You know? Next up, woman in critical condition after being shot in the head in Far Rockaway. A 29-year-old woman was rushed to the hospital Tuesday after being shot in the head. On Tuesday, February 16th at 4 p.m., police responded to a call near Dix Avenue and McBride Street to find the woman with a gunshot wound to her head. Responding EMS personnel took the woman to the hospital in Jamaica in critical condition. So the good news is, at least this was not reported as a homicide. A witness to the shooting said the suspect shot the woman and then drove off in a Jeep. He shot her right in the face, jumped off, and just left. So very disturbing. In broad daylight. Broad daylight. And not to mention, you know, once daylight savings time starts in a few weeks on March 14th, no, there's going to be longer longer amount of daylight. So, can't even imagine anything else. So, shooting reported in Palmer Oak Park. Oh, happened in public housing. Okay, my bad. Cops are looking for a trigger-happy perpetrator and its friends who suddenly shot a 27-year-old man during a gathering at the Palmer Oak Public Housing Complex earlier this month. Ooh! Right by the 107 precinct. I know this address. The NYPD released images on Tuesday of the suspects connected to the shooting that occurred at 1 p.m. on February 8th inside the Palmer Oak houses at 70-29 Casino Boulevard. Law enforcement sources say the four suspects had been fraternizing with the 27-year-old inside the location when things took a violent turn. One of the quartet pulled out a handgun, began firing multiple shots. Cops reported striking the victim in both of his arms. Police did not disclose what set off the gunman. Firing the gunfire, the gunman and his 3 cohorts fled the location in an unknown direction. The incident was, of course, reported to the nearby 107 precinct on Parsons Boulevard. EMS units brought the victim to New York Presbyterian, so Lutheran Memorial, treated and later released. So we do have photos of the suspects. They were walking near the corner of Jewel Avenue and Casino Boulevard. So, right by the bowling alley. A short distance from the crime scene. Okay, so here are the picture of the suspects wanted. So, anyone with information, we have the number right here. I'll leave it right here. But you can also notify the 107 precinct. If you have any information regarding this incident, broad daylight, February 8th, about 3 weeks ago, you can also call the 107 precinct at 718-969-5100. Again, the phone number is 718-969-5100. Or, more importantly, if you have a tip, you can go to the 107 at 71-01 Parsons Boulevard in Flushing. And no, it's not in Fresh Meadows. I don't know what Google is thinking. It's technically South Flushing where the Orthodox live. Jeez, Google, you really have to get your act done. My goodness. Yep, as soon as I saw the address, I'm like, ooh. Casino Boulevards. I knew the 107 was literally not too far from the crime scene. Alright, lastly, this got a lot of attention on CBS 2, believe it or not. Let's get into this. Police arrested an Ozone Park car wash attendant Monday after he allegedly drunkenly drove into a woman, killing her as she waited for her car to be washed. Edwin Vargas, a 43-year-old man from Richmond Hill, was taken into custody at Cross Bay Car Wash at 135-18 Cross Bay Boulevard after running over a 54-year-old woman waiting for her car at 2 p.m. on February 15th. Police believe that Vargas, who worked at the car wash, was drunk when he drove the 2011 Jeep Liberty out of the car wash and into the lot, hitting the woman in another car. The 54-year-old woman who sustained severe blood trauma in the crash was rushed to Jamaica Hospital when she was pronounced dead. Vargas was charged with vehicular manslaughter, vehicular assault, a DWI, and a DWAI. Wow. So, of course, because of privacy reasons, the identity of the woman is being withheld until her family is properly notified. But we actually have a picture of the vehicle that was involved in the crash. So as you can see here, this is the 2011 Jeep Liberty involved. Wow. That is very, very shocking. I don't know what else is there to say. Drunk on the job. Okay, so that's going to wrap up this video. I know there's a lot of stories we had to cover in Queens today, but, you know, I don't know how much more can Queens really go through this bad pattern of crime. But you know I'm going to keep talking about it, and I'm going to say this right now. You know, Andy's Randomness condones any hate. We condone it here on this channel, right? So, we don't want to have that here. Not in Queens, not anywhere in this country. Okay? And I will say this again. I live in a large Asian community in Queens. Okay? I do not tolerate this. Not one bit. Okay? Understand that. You all deserve to be treated fairly. And, you know, I'm just disturbed in the past year that we have to talk about Asians getting attacked because of this whole pandemic. And I know the virus came from Wuhan. Okay? That's one thing. That's one thing. But it doesn't let you bully people. That's bullying. Okay? It's not acceptable. It has to stop. And, you know, I will bring this up right now. You know, Olivia Munn. You know, your friend's mother didn't deserve what happened to her. No one deserves it. Especially in broad daylight in downtown Flushing. Downtown Flushing. Very busy area of Queens. Ron Kim. You know, I'm going to say this before I reach out to him on email this weekend. You know, I work at, again, I haven't been at work in a year. Okay? I understand what losing a loved one is like. Okay? June's going to mark 10 years since I lost my grandfather. 10 years when he passed away in June of 2011. And what makes me disturbed to this day is that, you know, the residents who are expired, I don't know who passed in the whole year. You know, I've had a close relationship professionally with the residents at Osnum and a lot of the family members. And, you know, it's tough. And Ron Kim lost a loved one in a nursing home because of Cuomo's misneglect. And, you know, I'm very disturbed about what's been going on. And, you know, I will bring up to Andy Q for a second if he is watching. Andy from NYC. You know, I've been watching a lot of his videos lately, and Jamaica overall, not a safe area. But you folks in Jamaica deserve equality with the vaccine. You know, why aren't you guys getting the vaccine equally? You know, that has to change. You know, I'm glad I'm eligible for the vaccine. You know, I will disclose that because of my disability. And I will be waiting for the Johnson & Johnson shot to come out in March. But, you know, minorities deserve fair treatment too. You know? It's not right. And it has to change when the vaccine is widely available. You know, colors a community. Neighborhoods like mine with a large, diverse Asian population. You know, we deserve treatment here. Equally. And please stay safe down there in Jamaica. You know, a grenade in your neighborhood? I mean, that's just disturbing. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you all for watching. And, you know, please stay safe out there. You know, continue the COVID precautions, but also take some precautions to keep you safe out there, because these are very dark times we are living in right now. So there'll be more videos. I'm not going anywhere. Somebody has to keep talking about this. And, you know, I will mention for Long Island updates for my viewers who want to get Long Island news, please keep watching Pine Power LI. Because Long Island's going through a rough stretch of crime as well. So, till the next one, please take care.